What's up, Internet? Josh and Colin here with another Sundog Tech Tip video. Today we're going to be talking about password management and how if you know that your password is secure. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and like the video if you haven't already. Colin, what is your role at Sundog? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I'm a knock engineer here at Sundog, and so I'm going to be the one helping you with your tickets. And normally, when you put in an issue, I'm going to be one of the first people to help you with that ticket.
Nice. Okay, cool. So let's dive right into it. So how long should your password be, Colin?
So in general, among the tech community, the consensus is that your password should be at least 8 characters long. It can be longer than that, but usually you don't want to go less than 8. And if your company policy says, more than 8, definitely you're gonna have to go more than 8 anyways. But
Okay. And so that's like a standard, like a minimum, you would say?
yeah, I'd say it's the minimum. Anything less than 8, is just too short, and computers can hack those in seconds. So it's
Right.
really not that secure anymore.
Okay, gotcha. And I know there's like a bunch of different characters you can use, and symbols. How do you know for sure if your password is secure? Obviously the eight, but what other criteria might might be
Yeah,
available? Yeah.
yeah. So there's a couple things you could look for. I'd say for complexity, you'd probably want to have at least an uppercase, a lowercase, and like a number or symbol. Some services might require more,
Okay.
some might require less, but generally, if it's going to require less, I'd still go for adding that just for extra security. You want to make sure that you have a unique password for each service whenever possible. So try not to use the same password for Instagram, Facebook, and your email.
Right.
Uh, I know it's kind of a daunting task, but I'd say at the minimum, if you really don't want to do that, at the minimum, just try and make sure your email password is unique and separate from everything else.
Oh,
And then
right.
and then the last thing is going to be try not to use common passwords. Something like 12345 is really common, and so I wouldn't use that one.
So you're telling me 12345 is not a good password?
No, it's
No.
absolutely not. Definitely 12345 or any series of numbers isn't going to be a good password. Uh, any password that is the word password or any variation isn't going to be a good password. I think I have a image here of some common passwords.
Okay.
Let me pull this up. Here you go. So this list here is 20 of the most commonly used passwords.
Let
Some of
me
them
in.
just yeah,
Number 14. What the hell?
and some of them just look a little crazy. Who would use this? But surprisingly, people use it all the time because you sign up for a new service or your work account needs to be updated, and you don't want to have to remember these passwords. So you just throw something in there, and ultimately it ends up being insecure. So
Right.
um, yeah, there's some crazy ones on here for sure. Um, and I would say that if your password or any variation of your password is on here, you should probably look at changing that after you watch this video.
Definitely. Yeah. None of my passwords are those passwords for sure. Oh, and I liked how you mentioned that if anything, your email password should be the most secure because your email can lead to so many different things.
Yeah.
And that made me think about my email passwords. So shortly after this video, I'll be uh, doing some work.
Yeah, usually if
Uh,
if they can get into your email, they can get into
they
so
get
much more.
yeah, everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes so much sense. Um, so instead of like, creating some convoluted password with all these different symbols, is a phrase okay or a saying that might be unique to you?
Yeah. So actually, I would say they're called passphrases, and I'd say most of my passwords are passphrases because generally they're longer and they're also generally easier to remember.
Okay.
Um, Let me see. I believe, yeah. I'm gonna pull up a photo here. I have some passphrases. Uh, I'm gonna pull it up in just a second.
No, you're good. No
Promise.
worries.
There we go. Oh, yeah. So here's some passphrases. And so we have like I love ice cream, and I can
I
see
can
them
see
all.
them. Yeah.
Yep. Um, so passphrases are nice because a lot of times your work says, "Hey, it's time to change your password, and it needs to be this long, and you have to have it's got to be this complex," and it's a little frustrating. And if you just use a passphrase, a lot of times it'll easily meet that length requirement. Um, as you can see on this one here, I love ice cream. It's got a capital. It's got a special character. It's actually got two. The only thing this one might be missing is a number, but
I see.
this one here, to be or not to be, that is the question mark. Um, that one should meet it. It's missing a capital, but you get the point. You could
Right.
add what you need, and it's going to be much easier to remember these than that complex. You're trying to be clever, and you make an E a three, and all those little tricks that you try to make it memorable but still complex. And I think this is just a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I consistently have trouble with is, I'd want to make this really long convoluted password with a bunch of symbols. Um, and then, you try and put it somewhere, but ultimately you forget it.
Yeah.
So this would seem a lot easier. So is along those lines, is there some kind of service that I could use that would help me keep track of all these different passwords?
Yeah, absolutely. So the service, they're called password managers,
Okay,
and there's quite a few of them. I think I have a slide for that as well. I do. So I'll go ahead and pull this up,
nice.
and then I'll just discuss it a bit more for you. So we have some password. These are some of the more popular ones. We have LastPass, One Password, Dashlane. This is Bitwarden, KeyPass, and there's several others. And the nice thing about a password manager, and I guess how they work, is you make one strong password, uh, and that's the password you don't want. You don't want anyone else to know for sure, because this one password is used to lock access to the password manager. And so how it works is you'll enter that password, and then you've got all your other passwords listed in there securely. They're usually encrypted, and that way you don't have to remember those passwords. It's going to remember them for you. When it's time to change your password, they can create a new password for you. A lot of times you can specify it needs to be this long. It has to have a capital, and all those requirements that you have to have. It'll go ahead and do it for you. So that makes it really easy. It can do passphrases as well, most of them. So it's really nice. And another benefit is it's not just for passwords. So if you need to keep a passport number, conveniently available for when
Oh,
you
okay.
travel or things like that, it's really nice to be able to put other information in there as well.
I see. So kind of like a one password to rule them all type deal. I like that.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. And are any of these services free?
I believe they all offer a free tier, at least. There are
Okay,
some that are entirely free. Um, but I think the ones that cost money just add a few extra features that aren't always going to be necessary.
I see.
So definitely there are some free options out there, and in my opinion, using any password manager is going to be far better than not using one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I certainly have my work cut out for me then. Colin, thank you so much for being in this video. Guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below and like the video, please. Thank you again. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.